Hey guys, good afternoon. Welcome to the show. This is KJ Osborne, and this is the Scariest Movie Ever YouTube channel. And I know the title might be a little shocking. The beast system is literally killing me. I may have to change that title before this video gets uploaded. But there's a reason for it, and that's what we're going to talk about today. There's a lot I want to cover here, mainly about some experiences I've been having here lately. And my whole reason for making this video or for doing this show is I'm hoping to help other people out there, because I've never experienced these kinds of things, these kinds of feelings until recently, because I've been placed on a bunch of medication over the last few weeks, and I've been noticing some really strange side effects. So that's what we're going to talk about today and get into some of that. And I just want to do a real quick prayer. I know some of you probably aren't into that. Maybe you can call it a moment of silence, but I really want to do this real quick. Heavenly Father, first off, thank you. Thanks for the fact I still have a YouTube channel after all these years, after all these battles. It's still here and standing and growing. Thank you for the growth as well. Thanks for the platform. Thanks for the gifts you've given me. And thanks for the fact there's an audience. And I pray that I'm helping people out there some way, somehow. And Father, today, with this show, I pray that we reach somebody out there or some people who may feel lost, who may be experiencing the same things I've been experiencing recently, and most importantly, for them to realize that it's not their fault, that this was placed upon them by an outside source. You know, they're not crazy, they're not alone. And that's all, Father. Thank you so much. I love you, and in Jesus' name I pray, amen. So here's what here we go. I don't even know exactly how to start with this, but I guess I'll just kind of get into my experience a little. And also, let me say this real quick as well. Some people have written, looking for me and wondering if I'm ever going to give up or quit. Absolutely not. Never. This is my life's work. If I wasn't doing it on YouTube, I'd be doing it somewhere else. But this is what I was made to do. It's what I love to do. I've been really beating myself up lately because I haven't been putting stuff out as much, but I've been grappling with some really serious issues. And I started doing some research into the drugs I've been put on, and I started finding some really interesting things. So, in fact, by now, most of you know, if you're listening here, that I had a heart attack less than 2 months ago. And I'm still a young guy. They were tripping out at the hospital, and they said it was my genetics. And I'm adopted, so I don't know my history. And I have 2 stents in my heart now, so it was a pretty major deal. And like I said, I'm very young for that to happen. I also see everything as a bit of a spiritual battle as well. I've been bashing Satan's system for 10 years of my life, so God knows I've had my share of the enemy fighting back in different ways. I had a major auto accident or motorcycle accident a few years ago. I have metal in my shoulder now. Had the heart attack, had the diabetes. Now I'm dealing with this stuff with the medication, which is putting thoughts in my mind of suicide and major depression. And that's what we're going to talk about here. Because over the last few weeks, I've gone through a lot of these bouts. I've gone through these periods where sometimes for a few days on end, I don't even want to get out of bed, and I just felt empty. Have you ever felt like that? I mean, truly empty. I mean, in my past, in my history, just like everybody else in this world, we all go through some kind of blue days here or there, but it usually passes over, maybe in a day or two, it's gone. And it's just kind of normal, I think, for us humans to go through that. And it's even more normal for it to go away. It's not normal for it to stay with you for days on end. It's not normal to feel completely just empty. That's the best way I can describe it. There's days I would just feel completely empty inside. There's days I would go into these bouts of crying. I mean, and I wouldn't even know why. Just randomly, I would feel such sadness and depression, and I wouldn't even know why. It's like, my life's not bad, but it didn't show. I just felt like, I don't know, like it was the end of everything. It was weird. Like I said, I've never had these kind of feelings before. And I know it's not me. And that's why we're doing the video. Like I said, I've done some research on this. I actually went to the doctor just yesterday, talking to them about some of my medication. And that's what I did. I'll show you. We'll go into some news stories and stuff here too. Here's just one headline. Millions are taking drugs, including birth control, that increase the risk of suicide. So that's the other thing, man, is, I mean, in my life, I've never had suicidal ideations, and I'm just like a lot of you, where when I'd see a story about somebody, committing suicide or trying to commit suicide or having suicidal thoughts, you always feel bad for them. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, they're too weak. They couldn't take it. It's too bad. They got to toughen up. You got to toughen up in this world. You got to pull up your Pampers, and you got to be a tough guy. Now I've had a new experience. Like I said, now I've had it to where I have had those thoughts and feelings. I haven't made a plan or anything. I'm not going to hurt myself. I have no intentions of ever hurting myself. But for the first time in my life over the last few weeks, I have days where I just feel like, like I said, just empty, and that I have nothing to give, that there's nothing in there. There's nothing to give, and, useless and worthless. And it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And again, I know that it's not me. This isn't KJ. This isn't the way I think. It's not the way I live. So I was really there for a while trying to figure out what in the heck's going on, man. What am I going through this for? What is this? The doctor, actually the one I saw yesterday, she told me that it's actually fairly common for people after a heart attack to have these kinds of things happen to them. And I was like, I really wish they would have told me that at the hospital before I left. And nobody ever told me that. And for weeks now, I've had these different kind of, like you said, just days where it's like, wow, I just feel, just like I said, empty. It's the best way to describe it, empty. And sometimes very sad, just like a deep sadness. And it's interesting because some people have written to me, even my friend Jason texted me a while back after one of my KJ What Happened shows. He's just like, dude, you sound really sad. Are you okay? And I've had other people say that too. And I thought I was covering it up pretty good. I didn't know that I was showing that like in the way I was talking, but I guess it may have come through in some of my past shows. And some of you just picked up on it. And like I said, you commented about it. And I guess you were right. I love doing my shows, and I'm not feeling or thinking sad thoughts when I'm doing it, but I guess it's just the residual of these days, like I said, I've spent on end, here or there, feeling really blue, feeling just out of it. And then it compounds because I'm not, doing what I love to do as much. I'm still collecting data. I'm still got stories together. I still am going to be doing my shows. And there's still some big videos I'm working on right now. I'm always working on something. But when I have those days hit, it's like I'll go 2-3 days. I can't even look at anything or try to connect any dots. I'm just too blue and numb, So anyway, let's see what this article says a little bit here. Drugs so frequently list death as a possible side effect that the danger has come to seem unremarkable. Currently, more than 1/3 of Americans are taking drugs that come with an increased risk of depression, and whether or not they realize it, patients are feeling the impact. And this is, and I said this to y'all a while back about my situation, this is the beast system. This is a branch of the beast system. I've become unwittingly and unwillingly, but I've become a slave to the beast system, like medical system, the beast medical system. I become a slave to it now, because I had a major incident in my life. I had a heart attack. So they put me on all these drugs. They got me on like 8 things now, and 4 of them I have to take twice a day. It's a lot of medication. And 4 of those all have the side effect of depression and suicide. So as I was researching all this stuff, I'll come back to this article. Let me see. I'll show you some of them. As I was researching some of this stuff, like I said, I was realizing Lipitor is one of the things I'm on. Tons of articles on Lipitor. Depression is found among people who take Lipitor. Keep moving on here. Lipitor and depression, FDA reports. It's one of the ones I got to take. This is amlodipine, I think it's pronounced, if it ever pops up here. Here's another one, though, just going through all the side effects. It's amazing the massive amount of side effects in these pharmaceuticals. And that goes to show you that this really is, like, to me, it's a beast system type drug. Because with all the millions and millions and millions of dollars pumped into into the American Medical Association and into medicine in general, can we really not develop a pill that'll take care of a problem and just take care of the problem and not have all of these other side effects that are going to lead to more pills? Of course we could. They just won't, because they're locked in step with the pharmaceutical industry. And that's another thing I'm experiencing now. I'll tell you about that in a second too, about my doctor visit yesterday. Okay, so there's one. Just having a hard time loading. Here's another one. Some blood pressure drugs tied to the risk of mood disorder, hospital says. It's like, duh, I'm on a bunch of blood pressure medication too, right? Here's another one. Oh, this is amlodipine again. Okay. This is carvedilol. It's another one I'm taking. And again, as I went down the list and looked, tons of side effects. And of course, depression's in there as well. And just another one. I'm going to go over here. Another story is your blood pressure medicine making you sad and depressed. Do you feel down in the dumps, sad or depressed? Have you ever considered the possibility that your medicine might be responsible for your blue mood? Health professionals rarely mention, which is the case in my case, they never told me. Health professionals rarely mention that many medications can have a profound impact on our psychological state. Right? Thanks, Doc. Thanks for letting me know. So, let's see here. Drug-induced depression. Depression can be caused by many other factors, including genetics, stressful life events, illness, and medications. Patients are not always warned that they might experience changes in mood or become depressed as a side effect of a prescription drug. One reader shared their experience with a beta blocker blood pressure, saying, I have been on metoprolol for years. I've asked numerous doctors why I'm suffering with fatigue, depression, palpitations, dizziness, difficulty breathing, coughing, cold feet and hands, lightheadedness, poor coordination, and many other symptoms. When I request a change in blood pressure medication, doctors brush me off. Am I wrong in wanting to change? Of course you're not. You're human, and you're trying to survive. You want to live. But this is a beast system medical branch here. And these pills, as we've seen, have got tons of side effects. Tons of negative side effects. Let's see. Here's a message from a patient. I have never had an issue with depression. I've cried once in the past 25 years and consider myself a very strong-minded individual. Others will attest to that. After 2 weeks of taking Chantix, that all changed. I became depressed, wanted to leave a marriage that was like a fairy tale. That's because it is that good after 20 years. She is the woman that made me the success that I am today. I started crying, started to become very unhappy, and lost all emotions to people around me. I still feel it and did tell my wife I was unhappy and I'm losing interest. She replied that we will fight this and the drug. She never got upset, just wanted to help. That's a good wife right there. I still feel down and will fight this the best way I can, which I am not sure of how to do. This drug brought back old memories and feelings from the past. I am trying really hard to fight this, but I feel I am losing the battle. I feel ashamed, bad for the people that care for me as much as they do, and I cannot return that favor anymore. I will do the noble thing and stay with what I have and be content with it. I never thought I could stop loving, but this drug has done that to me. It was like overnight. I never knew what hit me. Before taking the drug, I was very happy, no regrets of anything, loved and respected everyone around me. I am 100% positive this drug caused the change. I mean, I could have written that very same thing. It's not Chantix I'm taking, but still. Another one says, I just found this site after wondering why I've been so depressed lately. I quit smoking 2 months ago. Now, that's the other thing I needed to mention, too, that the doctors never even mentioned to me, and they talked about yesterday to me. But, I was addicted to nicotine for 25 years, maybe 30 years, somewhere in there. And after the heart attack, I just quit immediately. And I haven't had nicotine since. Like, I just finished. I was done. And that was, again, just less than 2 months ago. Just like this person saying, they quit smoking 2 months ago. And the doctor yesterday was acting all surprised, like, oh yeah, well, sure, that's going to have a major effect on your psychology and this and that and the other. And I'd never totally considered that, but I did. It would have been nice to have someone kind of explain that to me. But it's true, man. I mean, I was addicted to something that made me feel good, for 25 years or so, and to just immediately cut that out of your system, it can be a real shock to the system. You know what I'm saying? So that's something to consider as well. All right. So that was that. And again, this is like the doctor said yesterday, this is the perfect storm in my situation, with the quitting nicotine and then with getting stacked with all these drugs, where not just one, not just two, not just three, but four of them can cause suicidal and depressive thoughts. I mean, it really is a perfect storm, right? So I'm saying, over the last few weeks, I knew it wasn't me. I was like, why am I feeling this way? Why do I just, I feel like I'm just done. Like, I'm done with life. I'm done with the world, and I've always been able to look into the stuff that I do and create what I create and see the world for what it is. But I always had the peace inside me. I've got the peace of Christ. I love God. I've got the Holy Spirit. I'm at peace with this stuff. I've never been afraid. Yet I've had such blue moments, like I said, over the last few months. So anyway, I just found this site after wondering why I've been depressed lately. I quit smoking 2 months ago, work out almost every day. I have a great job and a great kid. By all accounts, I should be stoked on life. Instead, I've been so depressed that I've been skipping work, skipping social events, and just staying home for weeks. The drug is amazing in that it made me quit cold turkey after smoking, look at this, 25 years, with zero urge to relapse. But this malaise is unbearable. So just another example of the side effects of some of these drugs. Let's see. It's just more of those. Let's jump to the next one, see what else I got here. Lisinopril is one of the things I'm on. I seem to be much more depressed since taking this medication. Should I stop? So this is all stuff that I started finding because I just started looking. I'm like, I can't be alone in this. And even though we know Google is evil, it also has some benefits to it. You can basically ask any question in Google and come up with tons and tons of possibilities. So it did help in my search to find others who are experiencing this. This was another one of my drugs right here. Oh, Brilinta. Yeah. So, and again, as you scroll down, it's got psychological side effects. Another one here, side effects cause some to stop taking blood thinner Brilinta. Another one. I'll come back to that. Come back to this. There's this one. Depression and statin drug use. It's another one. The thing is I know there's a lot of you out there that are on these statins as well. So I'm really curious to see the chat. Once we talk a little bit here, I'm just going to jump over there into the chat, start reading your messages, and see what you guys say and see what your experiences are. Because I know that a lot of you out there have had some of these experiences as well. And again, I really hope you know that you're not alone. I'm a very strong person. I'm very independent. Have been my whole life. And this whole thing has really changed me. The heart attack has changed a lot of things about me too. I've always been very guarded, and I'm very careful of who I allow into my life. Very careful. I keep up a lot of walls, As nice as I am when people meet me and everything is open, you would think it's just we're instant friends and everything is great, but then it's not, because I'm a feeler and I'm always feeling people, and I'm just an agreeable, kind person, but I don't always let people in. I may feel something on them I don't like, and then I'm ghosting people. It's just the way I am. But since the heart attack and everything, it's really made me reach out a whole lot more to my friends, and some of you are listening right now, and just thank you again. You know who you are. Thanks so much for being there, for being someone I can talk to on the phone and just text back and forth with, for understanding, for listening, and just being really great support. I could list off so many of you. I hope I don't miss anybody. There's a few: Mia, Tamara, Pandora, Jen, Juliet, Mike, I talked to Casey from Inner Stars the other day, not for long, but he's always been a friend. We're gonna do something here together soon, do a show, and Mike from On Point Preparedness as well. Velda is another friend of mine I've been able to reach out to and talk to. I hope I'm not missing anybody. I may have, but anyway, that's just a handful of them. But y'all, thank you so much. I mean, I've seriously needed you. And that's the thing with me is in my life, I've never felt like I really needed somebody else or, whatever. And this whole process the last few weeks, it has me reaching out more. Like I said to my friends, I'm needing to talk to people more and I'm opening up more and I'm wanting to learn more about them. And I just, it's been really nice, man. Like I said, it's been really nice. I've really needed it. And I'm just very grateful. And I'm grateful for you all to be there for me. So thanks. And there's people who've emailed me and I've mentioned some of this to them. They've asked where I am or if they could help. I always ask for prayer. That's the main thing I really need. If you guys can keep praying for me, I really appreciate it, and pray for each other, So here we go. From thousands of reports, I have seen a strong association between statin drug use and affective disorders of all kinds. Although this article stresses depression and its most extreme form, suicide, other affective manifestations include hostility, aggressiveness, rage, combativeness. I haven't had any of that, luckily. Accident proneness and special proneness for use of addictive substances. He or she is not the person I married is a frequently recurring statement from spouses of statin users. And more ominously is the statement from surviving wives, there was nothing wrong before he started taking the statin. The mechanism of action in explaining the association of these reactions to statins appears to be interference with the biochemistry of dolichols, one of the vital metabolic pathways collaterally affected by the use of statin drugs. So there you go. See what we say here. Some interesting stories here. The following are a few reports I've received from readers of my books and website articles relevant to the subject of depression, hostility, aggression, combativeness, and statin drug use. I'm an alcoholic. After my 15 years of sobriety, my resumption of heavily drinking correlated with Zocor use. Again and again, I made this observation. I stopped several times, but wasn't able to make sobriety stick as long as I was on this statin. My personality changes on this drug were profound. I felt as if I were totally going out of my mind. I also became noticeably paranoid and somewhat schizophrenic. I began to think of myself as two people. It was like having a junior employee who constantly had to be instructed to stay alive and function. My symptoms became progressively worse, and I began to feel I could easily become suicidal. Later, I was started on Zetia, only to suffer the same type of problems. It took me many days after washing out of these drugs before I became my usual competent self again. I write to you because you have become a focal point on the side effects of the cholesterol-lowering drugs. I hope you will share this information with anyone you feel appropriate. I do not think that any human being should have to repeat the experiences I have had with these drugs. My father was an attorney who was placed on Zocor purely as a preventative measure. In the few weeks before his death, he complained of insomnia and difficulty thinking. Now, I have had a lot of that too, like just moments of confusion, not even able to decide on something basic. It's just weird, man. So I've felt some of that too. The idea that this brilliant man couldn't think was ludicrous. He was placed on a sleeping pill Restoral several days before his death. On the morning of his death, he was his fun-loving self, laughing and talking about his day. We had dined out the previous evening. A warm, wonderful evening. Something happened after I left that morning. My husband had some sort of psychotic break and, in an incredibly bizarre manner, committed suicide. The pharmaceutical companies may consider suicides as statistically insignificant, but the victims who fall within this violent numerology and those who love them do not. I am a professor at one of our universities. I have lost someone very dear to me. Millions of men like my husband are being prescribed a drug purely for preventative reasons, which has been shown to cause as much trouble as it rectifies. The more I read about these drugs, the more my horror. It's just some of the stories right there, right? Depression and statin drug use. Are any of you on statins? Have any of you had loved ones or associates on statin and you've noticed a change in their personalities? I'm curious. I'll come ask in the chat in a little bit because I come over and talk to you guys. Here's another one. Common blood pressure medications may increase the risk of severe mood disorder episodes, a new study suggests. Thanks, doc, for telling us. Thanks a lot. People taking drugs known as beta blockers and calcium antagonists for more than 90 days were twice as likely to be hospitalized for a mood disorder, and I'm on these, such as major depression or bipolar disease. Now we see how the beast system is affecting us through this medicine, right? Compared to people treating their high blood pressure with so-called angiotensin antagonists. Commonly prescribed beta blockers include propranolol, metoprolol, and atenolol. For example, calcium channels blockers include an amlodipine, nifidine. These are weird big words, so we're just going to skip past. But anyway, a bunch of big words, blockers. Still, people on these medications shouldn't change their prescription or do anything differently, said senior author, doctor, whatever. People need to take their drugs because these drugs are effective at preventing heart attack and stroke. He and his colleagues write in the journal Hypertension that depression and heart disease are both common health problems, and the links between them may go in both directions. For example, bipolar disorder is tied to about a twofold increased risk of high blood pressure and death related to heart problems, they write. Additionally, major depressive disorder is tied to an increased risk of high blood pressure. There you go. So it's just another example of this. Are any of you on blood pressure medication and having any of these symptoms again? Or do you know anybody? Do you know anybody in your life who's on some blood pressure medication and maybe their personality's changed? Right? Maybe they seem a little more depressed, possibly suicidal. Has the world gone mad? This is a new story. Mental health disorders on the rise globally. Gee, I wonder why, right? Mental health disorders are on the rise in every country in the world and could cost the global economy up to $16 trillion between 2010 and 2030 if a collective failure to respond is not addressed. And people say we don't need Jesus in this life. People say we don't need our Heavenly Father. We really do. And, I have it. And that's the thing is this is one of those things that I haven't been able to, quote, pray away because people are praying for me. And I appreciate that. I know that's helping to keep me strong. I pray every day about it. Yet still I've experienced these feelings and these thoughts. And it's gotten really, really low, but never to the point where I was afraid I was going to do something to myself or whatever. But so what I've done is instead of looking at it as an attack purely as, oh, this is just an attack by the enemy, and I've got to deal with it. I look at it like a strange blessing. And I've even prayed about this because, I am grateful now that I've gotten to go to the depths I've gotten to go to recently, because now I can greater understand other people who go through this. I get it. Like, I really get it now. You know what I mean? I understand. You always see all these stories of people committing suicide and this, that, and the other. They were a great guy or a great gal or, had her own business. He had a great family, et cetera, et cetera. And then these things happen. I understand. Like, I feel like I've been to the place now where millions of people have been, but they didn't pull back. They went ahead and went through with it, made a plan, and just finished it off. But I've been at that level with this stuff. I understand it. And in that, I'm grateful for it. I really am. I'm grateful. It's going to make me more empathic towards these people, care more. And, who knows where it'll take me, but I hope I can help others in the future. And just from my brief experience with all this stuff. And I'm still kind of in the thick of it, but at least, like I said, it helps knowing that it's not you. Don't take it personal. Don't start thinking you're crazy, you're bad, you're weird, or anything like that. I mean, this has been placed upon you. This is what a lot of these medications do, man. That's just it. So let's see what this says here some. The Lancet Commission report by 28 global specialists in psychiatry, public health, and neuroscience, as well as mental health patients and advocacy groups, said the growing crisis could cause lasting harm to people, communities, and economies worldwide. Let's see what else we got. It's kind of a short article. But anyway, it's that's the point right there. Has the world gone mad? Mental health disorders on the rise globally. So this is an epidemic. It really is an epidemic. And here's another one. Another epidemic. Loneliness is an emerging public health threat. So that's another thing I've been experiencing, man, is extreme levels of loneliness, and I'm off and on kind of a loner anyway. Like I said, I've always been very independent. Y'all know I moved to a foreign country a few years ago by myself, not knowing anybody out there, and I wound up making a life for myself for a few years, until the accident, and I did fine. So I can function like this. I can be alone, but this has all changed it. Like, it's really made me, like, I feel lonely a lot. I really do feel lonely. It's had me reaching out more, like I said, to people, to friends. It's had me reaching out more and wanting to meet new people and, just bring new people into my life. Um, and that's a new thing for me. It is. I've never felt like I needed people so much as I do now. So maybe that's a part of the weird kind of blessing in disguise. Maybe this is something I needed to do for my life. I'm just trusting in the Lord that there's a positive outcome to all this stuff and that He's allowing me to go through this kind of a hell, really, for a while to teach me something. And that's the best attitude I can keep, you know? Everyone feels isolated sometimes, but with 1 in 5 Americans chronically lonely, has loneliness reached epidemic proportions? So we have an epidemic of mental disorders and an epidemic of loneliness. No surprise, these are kind of hand in hand, right? In 1988, the journal Science published a landmark study suggesting isolation was as strong a risk factor for morbidity and mortality as sedentary lifestyle, high blood pressure, and smoking or obesity. Since then, loneliness has become an increasing public health concern, and health officials are now taking the idea of an epidemic seriously. As the population ages, the burden of social isolation on public health will only increase. Loneliness is one aspect of interrelated conditions such as isolation due to illness, disability, or age, the social and language-based isolation of being an immigrant, depression, poverty, discrimination, etc. This past summer, 2 surveys made news marking the extent of loneliness in the U.S. and other economically developed countries. Since these and other studies are new, we can anticipate learning more about the interrelationships of factors that contribute to loneliness over time. That shouldn't stop us from addressing the problem now, but may help provide better perspective. All right, I'm not going to read the whole scientific study because those can get boring, but we get it. Loneliness is an emerging public health threat. We got this article we're just looking at. Millions are taking drugs, including birth control, that increase the risk of suicide. It's important to know this, right? It's another short article, but just important to know this. Any of you ladies, have you ever been on birth control and experienced those kinds of feelings? And then just to everyone in general, including the dudes, again, have you ever experienced something like this where everything's fine in life, you're doing okay, you're feeling good, feeling, quote, normal, and then you start taking a new medication and suddenly it's things change. You get depressed, you get suicidal, you get homicidal, who knows, right? Millions take pills for common health problems they may be causing depression, study says. It's another fairly short article, but there you go. And here's one thing that's helped me too, okay? Because that's the other thing is I don't like having to focus on myself this much. I would rather do what I do and just put my feelers out into the world and learn things and connect dots and create my videos and do my shows. This is just how I naturally like to exist. But since the heart attack, of course, and everything, I've had to take all these new meds. I eat a new diet and I exercise every single day. So I have to really stay focused more on myself now. And, again, I'm trying not to look at this like the enemy won, the devil won, the beast system got me, now I'm screwed. I can't look at it like that. I'm trying to go through the motions and, do what I've got to do, right, to get past all this stuff. I am fighting really hard. I'm eating really good. I'm exercising all the time. And I just want to get to a point where I can find an alternative to all this stuff, So there's that. But, here's something that helps. And it's looking outside ourselves and looking at stories like this right here. You may have heard what happened with Hurricane Michael in Florida. Look at this. Change forever. Florida panhandle devastated by Michael. That's lives in ruins you're looking at right there. Let me see if I can get some pictures, other pictures. But that is lives in ruin. Everything these people ever had has disappeared. Look at that. Can you imagine how hard that is on people? I'm just saying that's the way I kind of process stuff. It helps sometimes to see other people in much worse situations, um, and comparatively with yours. Look at this. Just lives in ruins. Lives in ruins. So, guys, I'm going to take 1 second. Let me get a quick refill on my coffee, and I'll be right back. And I'm going to jump over to the chat, and we're just going to chat a little bit and talk, okay? So I'll be back in less than a minute. Okay. Thanks for waiting. So I'm going to close this window here, and I'm just going to jump over here to the chat now. See how you guys are doing. All right, guys. Hey, so I'm back here. I'm over here in the chat, and I'm going to just kind of start reading down. If you guys want to add anything or tell me about your experiences or anything like that, please let me know, okay? Hey, Tina Tomaszewski. I see Allie's here too, but Tina's saying, KJ, start researching holistic cures. There's so many other ways to treat yourself with lots of conditions. That's actually, that's totally where I'm at. And that's what I'm open to and I'm praying about for the Lord to show me where to go from here, like what else I can do and get out of this trap, because it's a trap. I saw something really interesting the other day. Here's something you can look up, because I have been looking into a lot of the holistic cures, but have you ever heard of grounding? Look up grounding sometime. There's this whole study that's been done on this. It's absolutely fascinating. And they've literally done scientific studies on this, that if you go outside and just stand barefooted on the earth, with earth under your feet, and they're saying for at least an hour or so a day, but it literally grounds you. And they say it's a natural cure for all inflammatory diseases. And basically every disease starts from an inflammation. It's absolutely mind-blowing. And this is one of the reasons why, people that live by the beach, beach goers and stuff like this, typically super healthy people, they're constantly on their bare feet in the sand, running around outside without shoes on and getting all that natural energy from the earth. And that's not a New Age Mother Gaia thing. The Lord created everything. The earth is a living creature. And we connect. We're made of a lot of the same things, right? That's what protons and neutrons moving really quick, little bitty ones, and creating matter, and that creates everything. So we're all kind of made of the same stuff. Some may say we're all made of stars, but so grounding is very interesting. I've been looking into that. I don't know necessarily how to apply that to my life, but maybe just getting out more, I don't know, walking outside, but it's getting cold out here. So grounding might not be the most, the best idea for me right now. It might not make the most sense, but it is just one of those other possibilities showing that, there's all natural cures for us. There's another way out there for us. So yes, I'm definitely open to all natural. Some of you may not know this. I was in the military for 8 years, active duty. I proudly served in the Coast Guard. I love the Coast Guard. And the last 4 years, I was a corpsman. I was a medic. I actually worked in a clinic. So, and that's what made me not trust medicine many years ago. But now, I'm in a situation where I really don't have much of a choice. At least I don't feel like I do. I'm curious about CBD. I wonder how much CBD oil would help out with some of these issues too. But, so let me go and tell you, like I said, I'm at the chat now, but I'm going real slow behind you guys. So look, it wound up getting a lot worse over the last few weeks. I'm talking like fits of crying, just it was just weird, man. I went and saw my parents a few days back and just started bawling in front of my mom, like I couldn't even control it. And that's when I was talking to her about this. Like, I think it's medication. And even she said, she's like, well, so and so from church had heart surgery or whatever. And they became real emotional, and they found out from their doctor that after your heart's been messed with, typically it's not unnatural for people to become a lot more emotional or sensitive and things like that. It's like, oh, okay. So at least she gets it on that level. And anyway, so I started looking up all my medications, and that's when I called her a few days ago, and I was like, well, look, I think this is part of it too. And then I immediately called the office to make an appointment. So I went in yesterday and hit her with all this stuff. I was like, look, this is not me. I'm getting really, really wild thoughts, again, of just feeling empty, feeling like I'd be better off just not even here anymore, stuff like that. And I know that's not me. And she was great, and even told me about the dangers of this. And like I said, I wasn't mad at her, but I did say, I really wish you guys would have told me some of this when I was still in the hospital, like said, hey, here's some things you might want to look out for in the future, because this hit me from out of nowhere, like you said, and it's been going on for weeks. And I knew it wasn't me. I was just trying to figure out what's causing this, so, but here's what her answer is to continue just for a shorter period of time on the cycle they have me on. We're going to pull back on some of these and try some alternatives she wants to do. Again, though, I'm still stuck in that medical beast system, right? And on top of that, yesterday she prescribed me Zoloft. Yeah, you heard me correct. She prescribed me Zoloft yesterday. And I was sitting there telling her, I was like, no, I was like, this is exactly what I didn't want to happen. Yeah, I don't, because this is what the pharmaceutical companies created all this for. I'm getting caught in that trap, man. This is what they did. They give you these medications to cure one thing, yet they're going to cause these other issues. But hey, don't worry. We got pills for that too. And I told her, I'm doing everything I can. I want to live a life like pill free, if I can get around it, that's what I want to do. So yes, so I'm looking, again, I'll be looking in the chat a little more here in a second and seeing your suggestions and ideas. If you're watching this later and this isn't live, please, guys, I'm going to be reading the chat or the comments. I always do. I love you guys anyway. There's always so many great comments and ideas and suggestions, but man, I really look forward to seeing the comment section and the chat a little bit here too. Hearing about your experiences, please share with us. I want this to be a video that people can come to and get help. Go into the comment section and see there's others that are going through similar experiences, and let's share with each other and try to help each other out. Okay. Like I said, this is nuts. It's nuts. So they want me to do Zoloft, and I was arguing with her on that one too, so, but even that, she's like, look, just do it for the short term as we finish out this cycle of medication. It'll help balance things out, and then we can pull off and do that. So, and like I told you, I'm at a place where it's like I'm already every now and then having a little trouble like making decisions. So I'm like, okay, well then I guess I'm just for now going to go along with the program, I guess, and we'll see. And I'm going to try to look at it like, I've never taken depression drugs or antipsychotics or whatever it is. So I've never done that. And I guess I'm going to go ahead and go with the experience because this is what's laid before me here. I'm praying heavily about it. I already have been and still will be, that our Father protects me from any more negative side effects from these things. And whatever lesson I'm supposed to learn, please show me, give me the wisdom to understand what I need to take away from this. And again, to point out to my friends and subs and stuff out there, I am never going to quit. This is what I do in life. I love making my videos and my shows. This is what I do. I've been hitting road bumps lately, man, and some blockades. That's why I missed my show the other night. Like I said, I was no shape to do a show the other night. And again, it's just frustrating. I was like, this is not me, man. It's not me. This ain't normal. I don't normally feel this way. So anyway, like I said, at least I finally have figured out that, again, I know it's not me. I know it's not coming from me. It's one of those things I've been talking against for years. Again, I'm getting caught up in a trap from the beast system that millions of other people have gone through, and millions of other people haven't made it through alive. This is a deadly trap. It really is. Can be. So let's go ahead and scroll down here a little bit. I'm just going to kind of read some things. Mr. DJ Clue says, KJ, focus on positive things as well. And he says, I know that the crux of your channel is the, yep, and I know probably where you're going with that. Hey, Sojourner for Christ, good to see you, by the way. Thanks, DJ Q. You're right, and I have been doing good. I keep a good balance, you know. But even the stuff that's considered darker that I make my videos of, I don't feel as affected by that stuff. I'm not scared of it. I don't feel it drags me out or brings me down. You know, I get excited because when I show you guys things that have to do with end times or the devil in the world, I see Jesus coming closer. I see the end coming closer. I see God coming closer, you know, so it's exciting for me. I know I'm a little twisted like that, but I was like that before the heart attack. All right. But I get what you're saying. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to scroll down a little bit more here. Let's see what else we got. Just reading some of your comments and just kind of hanging out with you. Okay. Method Marine, man, always a pleasure. Good to see you, Method Marine. It says, KJ sounds healthy enough to get off the meds, go for walks, then to running. That will help get the blood pumping. Those meds are bad for the body. That's another crazy thing, man. You know, I have been exercising a lot. So this past weekend, I ran down to Texas for a couple days, and I wasn't able to exercise like I have been steadily ever since getting out of the hospital. And that's when I hit the worst of it, man. I mean, it was like severe depression. And I really think that it came because I wasn't able to keep exercising there for a few days. I mean, exercising really does balance me out, man. It's been fantastic. So maybe that's why it made it worse. Saint Tin says marijuana is God's herb. It heals. I'm with marijuana as well. You know, I'm definitely, I'm with marijuana, have been for about a decade of my life. Typically only use it in the evening, and it's basically my glass of wine. You know, some people that have a glass of wine, that's kind of the way I've seen it. Just like anything else, though, it can be abused. You know, I've been really careful about that as well. For the wrong people, it can do bad things. You know, if you don't pray over these kind of things, if you're not conscious of the potential dangers. I'm not a wake and baker. You know, I don't get high all day long or anything. It's always been an evening thing for me, and it's really never been a whole lot. You know, I've still got a fairly low tolerance considering the low amount I've used throughout the years. But like I said, I'm with you on that. I'm okay with that, you know. Bob Lee says he stopped taking all of his blood control medications or BP medications. See what else we got. Christy Loves Makeup says you're a cash cow once they get you hooked. That's true. That's true. Both sides will just be making bank off you, man. Pharmaceutical and the medical, right? Crystal Rolf says cut out anything deep fried or high fat. Let's see what else we got here. Kelly, I do keto also. She says I'm on keto, and I've run into quite a few people who, when they went keto, they were able to get off their BP meds. Cool. I'm doing keto as well, and I'm hoping for that very thing that it's going to help, you know. I'm still scrolling down. Thanks for your patience. There's a lot of comments here. I freeze them, and I go behind you guys and just kind of read and chat with you. So, hey, it's a Friday afternoon. If you're listening, we got nothing else to do, right? Let's just hang out and talk this stuff out a little bit. I love seeing what you guys have to say anyway. Greg Lamblin says thou shalt not kill may include suicide. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not going to do that. You know, I'm not going to do that. I get it. You know, I know to me, it's always more spiritual than anything else. Michaela Phillips says fasting is another way to heal your body. I've never really considered that. Maybe I should look into fasting as well. Is that something you guys have heard about as well? Maybe do like a week fast or something? And how do you fast? What, you just liquids for a week or whatever? Like I said, I'm open to trying anything. So if fasting is a good way to clean your body out, you know, let me know. Let's see what else we got here. Starstone says cannabis is controversial, but it does regulate blood flow and reduces stress. Yep. I got my dad on CBD oil, so that's a big step. He's a good Church of Christ man, but he's also very intelligent, and he gets it. You know, he's not a super dogmatic religious kind of a guy, and it's done wonders for him. CBD has done wonders for him. So yeah, I'm into that for sure. I see other people saying CBD oil has been helping them too. Leanne Bennett says, my mom's cholesterol meds made her mean. She also thought she needed to sell her house and move. After she stopped it, she returned to normal. Yeah, I got into some forums and I've been reading a lot of other people's stories about some of these BP meds and cholesterol meds. And exactly, man, some people doing some crazy things, man. I mean, just crazy things. I haven't gone there. Like the big thing for me, like I said, has just been feeling super lonely and reaching out more to my friends and just that's just been a thing. I felt just super, super lonely. So, but the only thing different it's made me do is just want to reach out to friends, even off of YouTube, and maybe meet people and stuff, I don't know. So that can't be that bad, right? And Nui Blue, thank you very much. I saw that. I appreciate that. They said they sent PayPal. Thanks. I appreciate it, man. To all of you that support my work, thanks, guys. That's what I'm telling you too. I'm not going away. I've got a huge video I'm working on right now. It's basically how I see the Antichrist spirit alive and well in our world, and it's growing. And like I said, I got some little videos I still got to cut together to put up on the website, and I'm still doing my shows. I mean, I'm just going through a rough patch. And those of you who support me on PayPal or Patreon, man, thank God for my Patreon friends. And those of you who will support Silver Botanicals, it's my sponsor. Check out their essential oils. Check out their other household products. Great prices, great company, Christian guys. They do it by themselves. When you buy any of their products, you're supporting my work as well. I'll leave a link below. But my point is that this is all I do, man. This is all I do for a living, And as you can see, I'm not money hungry. I'd be pumping stuff out all the time just to get those ads. It's not like that. I'm blessed to where I can take my time, put out what I want to and what I need to, and have time to research and give you the very best I have to offer. So again, thank God for all of you who support my work. Thanks. I really appreciate you. And I'm never going away. I just go through rough patches, maybe like this from time to time. I may slow down, but I promise there's always something on the horizon from me. Always. What else we got here? C. Gregory, thanks for the prayers, man. Some people think smoking pot is sorcery, but I think sorcery is the medical stuff I'm on right now. To me, that's what real sorcery is. That's real danger. That's real witchcraft. That's my experience. But at the same time, smoking pot for the wrong person, maybe if they don't have the Holy Spirit within, could open up portals and doorways, especially depending on what they're taking in after smoking the pot. If you're watching evil movies about demons and stuff like this, that could be, a problem. If you're listening to really evil, dark, satanic type music, that could be a problem. There's gray areas here. It's not just black and white, the way I see that. You see? See what else we got. Yeah, Rambo Joe, school shooters and these pills are never too far apart, he says. Absolutely. I've covered that in some of my videos as well. All these school shooters are on SSRIs, and they never talk about that in the news, right? It's always the guns. The gun's the problem. Look what that gun did to that school, right? Seek truth. And again, guys, I'm being transparent and honest about the marijuana thing for me. That may bum some of you out, and you may think that's bad or whatever, but I'm just being honest with you, man. And I've taken it to the Lord, and He knows it's something I do. I can't hide it. And I've done it off and on for 10 years. Like I said, only in the evenings. At the same time, I see the danger in it, potentially for some people. But it's been good for me. Like I said, it's really kind of my glass of wine at the end of the day, I guess you could say. And I have respect for it. Like I said, I don't wake up and like, yo, bro, hit the bong. It's 8 a.m. bong rip time. I don't do anything like that. But anyway, let's move on down here. Cat in Canada, CBD oil. Thank you. Says it helps with the emotional stuff. Mika Matena, it's so great to see you. I haven't talked to you in a long time, Mika. She says, have they determined what the cause of your heart attack was? I'm positive it has more to do with stress and anxiety more than anything. My mom had a heart attack from crying too much. I mean, no. They say that at my age and as severe as it was, it's genetic. And, the truth is that since I came back from Costa Rica, I haven't really been exercising much. I lead a sedentary life because I work from home. So I've been just sitting around home and hadn't been gaining weight or anything either. Like I was maintaining my weight. I was eating okay. I wasn't eating junk food because I learned to eat really good out in Costa Rica, eat healthy out there. But out there, I was exercising a lot more too. So I think that, my lifestyle didn't help at all with this. Oh, well, and I've got, I was diagnosed with diabetes a few years ago as well. I mean, I know, right? Like when it hits, it hits. I mean, in the last handful of years, just few years, I've experienced some of the most major life-changing experiences anybody can. Heart attack, major auto accident where I had major surgery on my shoulder, um, diabetes, and now the suicide and depressive thoughts from all these freaking medications. So I'm in the fight, okay, and I'm in the battle. But again, I with Christ on my side, and as long as I keep turning to our Heavenly Father, I know I'll be okay. I know I'm going to make it. Let's see. I'm still going to scroll down a little bit here. I like that saying. Savati Dragon says, "Pain is not sorrow. Not feeling is sorrowful." That's good. I like it. Heir to the Kingdom of God says, my husband was complaining to me about his blood pressure pills. He was saying he was feeling lightheaded, nauseous, almost, he said, so he stopped taking the pills for a day or two, then he felt better. Yep, good to know. Still scrolling down, guys, just kind of reading some of your comments. Joshua Mays says, I'm forced to take SSRI pills and it does disconnect me from my spirit. I can feel it. Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that. Joshua, I hope you find another way around that as well, okay? Because that's not good. All right. Robert Ingram asks, does anyone else on blood pressure meds have the heavy neck pulse and tinnitus? Sherry S. says, guilt and numbness spiritual. Crispiracy says, pharmakia. I wonder where the line is drawn between medicine and sorcery. Right? Exactly. A lot of interesting symbolism around the pharmaceutical industries anyway. And look at most of their logos are pyramids and suns and things like this. So that's, again, we read symbols here. And this is more obvious symbolism of the beast and the beast system. It's a trap. Right? Okay, still scrolling down here. Rachel Paez, or P-A-I-Z, says, Chantix made my mom crazy and they wouldn't take her off it after a year of not smoking. Quit nicotine, man. That's a big one. That is a big one. Like I said, I just did it out of necessity because I figured, okay, I just had a heart attack, so I should drop the nicotine, and I did. And like the doctor said, that's huge, and it makes sense. Again, you're addicted to something like that makes you feel good every time you take it in, and you drop it from your system. It's tough. That ain't easy. That ain't easy, man. Still scrolling down here. See what else we got. Thanks again for your patience, guys. Again, no rush. We're taking our time here, man. I showed you guys the news stories I wanted to show you. I've kind of given you my experience. Now I'm really curious to see what you guys are saying, what you have to say here. Let's see. Yeah, Crystal Rolf says, oh, he was a smoker too, recipe for a heart attack. Well, see, there you go. That's right. I forgot to mention I was, like I said, it was the sedentary life for a few years, and I was vaping. I wasn't smoking cigarettes, but vaping, but still taking in nicotine, which is a vasoconstrictor, so it's not good for you, right? But hang in there, man, for y'all who, as far as my health goes, I feel fantastic without smoking or taking in nicotine. I feel fantastic, it's just those hardcore bouts of depression that come around every now and then, or sadness, like I said. But if it's happening to you guys too, just do what I do, please, and keep it in perspective. And again, make sure you know that it's not your fault. It's not you. You're not crazy. You're not weird. It's documented that there's a side effect to this stuff. Okay? Still scrolling down here. Robert Mohat says, I I was brought into the surgery area and told that I needed to have open heart surgery. A second opinion caused me to decline surgery, but I was prescribed a half a dozen meds. Don't take any, and I am fine now. Good. Good. Let's see what else we got. Bob Lee says it's not the smoking, KG. I went through the same thing you're going through. Thanks for sharing, man. So I guess you were on some of these meds and having some of these weird feelings too, I guess. Effie says addiction is the manifestation of spiritual pain that is unresolved. I like that. Sherry L says one med leads to more to treat the side effects. Psychologists run this country. Absolutely. Judges rely on them, politicians, med doctors, etc. Think about that too. Judges leave it to the psychs to decide. Yeah. Just kind of on the side note, it's something and I'm still going down, so y'all please say whatever you want in chat. I'll eventually get to it. But there's also a big controversy going on right now on YouTube with a bunch of huge YouTube channels are promoting this psychology, psychology business where you can call in and for a small price, I guess, you can talk to a psychologist or whatever, for a little bit of time. And this whole thing got blown wide open, and apparently it's a big scam. My friend Jeff C. covered it on a couple of his videos. I've seen some other people talk about it as well. But Philip DeFranco, like one of YouTube's biggest stars, he's kind of got caught up in that thing as well because he's really been promoting this company and a lot. Now a lot of people are coming out and saying they're having problems with this company, not getting professional help, and they're getting charged without getting anything. So it's just sad, man. I mean, that's going to happen, I guess. That's capitalism as well, though. Everything gets capitalized on, and we just saw those stories at the beginning where there's a major rise in, mental illness in this country and really in the world. So, of course, you're going to have companies come around now, these freaking vampires, these creatures, these monsters, and feed off of people's sadness and depression. It's just unbelievable. But Love is Everything says you probably just have parasites, protozoa, and worms. Doctors won't talk about this. Everyone has them, and only the richest have the money to afford a doctor to manage their worm problems. That's fascinating. I've never heard that before, and thanks. I'll look into that one too. That's good. Let's see what else we got here. Shiri S says they do have vapes that actually have nicotine in them, and you can lower the level, and it's very cheap, and then just go to where just the vapor. Yeah, actually, that's one thing the doctor said yesterday too, and I've been doing that a little bit off and on anyway, is I've got a vape still, but I just put 0 nicotine in there, and I wasn't sure if I should be doing it anyway, but yesterday the doctor said that it's okay. So I don't do it often, but it does help when you start getting that urge just to feel the throat hit and then see some, something coming out or whatever. It's just the psychological side of it, but I don't miss nicotine. I don't ever want to be a slave to that anymore. And after I'm done with this battle right here, I'm not going to be a slave to any medications. So I'm fighting. I'm working on it, Let's see what else we got down here. Yeah. Oh, York says, don't forget your body's a temple and drugs start to destroy that temple. It's a good point. Michael Ireland says, dear brother KJ, ask Jesus and he will protect you, brother. Keep the faith. It's the beast, the devil. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, Michael. And again, I appreciate all of your prayers, man. I've got the most amazing, I don't even want to call you audience, I guess subs, friends, fam, community. I say community, man. We've got such a great community here. So just thanks. And again, I know my work has slowed a little bit over the last few weeks, but it's just a temporary, kind of setback. I always want to do more. I always want to connect with you guys more. So I've got more stuff coming out, of course, and I appreciate you so much, man. Like I said, I do. And just thank you, man. And all your wonderful messages and prayers. I know they're helping. So thanks. Okay. Robin McAdams says, I tried to commit suicide in the same room as my children. Ah, I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't get the rest of the story, but I'm guessing maybe you were on something. I'm not sure. Maybe you could fill us in on that. So, wow. I'm glad you're still with us. I'm glad you're still with us. Let's see what else we got down here. Rescued is my favorite breed. Says Yeshua freed me from a 27-year IV heroin, methadone, and cocaine addiction. Wow. Good for you. Major congrats. That's huge. That is absolutely huge. Christy Loves Makeup says, tell us about what happened at the doctor's yesterday. Yeah, so that's it. I thought I'd mention it, but I'll go ahead and go back and tell you quickly again. So, as I said, they want me to finish this current cycle of medications I'm on. She prescribed me with Zoloft, and they want me to start doing that to counterbalance it, which again is the total trap, right? It is what it is. But with Christ on my side, with praying about it, and just keeping contact with our Father, then I'm going to go ahead and go through the experience. And again, this is how I'm trying to look at the entire thing, that in a way, I'm grateful that I've had these experiences. I know it sounds crazy, but I've been brought to my knees, man. But I'm grateful that I've felt the depth of depression and sadness and even suicidal ideation that I have, because I can relate to other people now who've gone through this. It's horrible. It's absolutely terrible, but I get it, man. I get it. And I understand it, So for that, I'm grateful. I don't want it to continue. It'd be a horrible way to live my life, and I know it won't continue, but I am grateful, and I'm going to see what happens with this process on taking the Zoloft and see what that does. I'll be really curious to see what happens. At least now I know that it's the medications, So, and I know if worse comes to worse, I can just quit something if I have to, but I'll be doing this all while balancing, trying to figure out something more all natural, another way around all this stuff. I'm going to go ahead and catch up the chat, so I may bypass a few of you. Again, I go really slow on the chat, so let's see what happens. Now I'm a little more caught up with you guys now, so let me pull back. If I miss anything, I'm sorry. If I don't address you during this, please feel free to leave comments once this show's uploaded, okay? Again, I want to hear you guys, see what you have to say. Let's see. Becky Fields, Miami fam, says having a heart attack can cause depression and feelings of morbidity after having it. It's a normal thing. Thanks. Again, that's really cool. The doctors, could have told me that, before I get out of the hospital. Instead, they waited till I came back saying, why do I have these thoughts? Child of Light says, what nicotine level were you vaping, KJ? It was only 3 milligrams. It really wasn't even much anyway. And I was on 3 milligrams for, 4 or 5 years. So it was low, man. It was low. Faith Abraham, you're right. Hey, El Chavez, I haven't seen you in a long time either. Just saying hi. It's good to see you. Faith Abraham says they create the diseases to peddle the cure, which is spellbinding. Absolutely. You nailed it. Roland LaFleur says, after being off of pain meds for 10 years, I had to make the choice to either go back on or have no kind of life. Wow. Sherry S., you're right. You're not thoughts or feelings or spirits. Yep. Wolfies says, Jesus called the crowd to him and said, all of you listen to me and understand. Nothing that enters a man from the outside can defile him, but the things that come out of a man, these are what defile him. That's good, but what does that mean for me? I don't get it, I like it. Jesus said it, but well, okay, that we have power over these things. I guess it's just, that's good. Okay, I see that. It's just to know that. We need to know we've got the power through Christ over these things. That helps. So yeah, that makes sense. Thanks. Charles Murray says, all those drugs contain inorganic compounds. How can an inorganic compound possibly nourish a life from that survives off organic compounds? Interesting. Pragmatic Puppy says, KJ, I love that name. KJ, I watched all of your videos and I'm fully awake thanks to you. More power and bless you. Thank you, Pragmatic Puppy. Thank you. I love that name. I do. Thanks, man. That means the world. And that's, those are the kind of messages I love seeing, that, all glory to our Heavenly Father, of course, but I'm just grateful that I get to play my part. I get to help somehow. And, hopefully I get to help wake people up out there in this world and ultimately lead us closer in our walk with Christ, lead you closer to God and away from this broken system we're stuck in. See what else we got. Still scrolling down here. Still scrolling down. Skittle Smarties, another cute name. Skittle Smarties. Whoa, what does that taste like? Because those are both candies. Skittles and Smarties? Wow. Flavor explosion, I'm sure. I had psychotic episodes from weed and was diagnosed as schizo and was on antidepressants and antipsychotics, but I have since stopped smoking weed and haven't had a problem with being schizo. Okay, that's good to know. Stay away from that weed then. Pumpkin Ore says a lot of God's people struggle with depression because we are in a world that isn't meant for us. We are just wanderers here. And that is so true. And see, even before the heart attack, I've always said I don't belong here. I never felt like I belong here. I feel like a stranger in a strange land. And that's just normal. It's just been really, exemplified, I guess, now with the medication, really, exaggerated those feelings. Know what I'm saying? Still scrolling down here, guys, a little bit. I just looked down. We have 1,000 listening and over 1,000 watching, guys. I usually don't even pay attention, but it's just that. Thank you. That's great, man. I love it, and I hope that this is helping some of you. I know a lot of you have had these experiences, or there's people you love and care about that are having it. So I hope it helps, man. I really hope it helps, and I look forward again to hearing your stories. And let's just try to help each other out. Like I said, this is it's a real thing. It's a real thing, and I've got it. I've been feeling it. So thanks, Maney Artist. She says, you'll get better, KJ. Stay strong. I agree. I will. I'm going to be all right. Corey McManus says, my brother was so addicted that he ended up killing himself. I'm sorry to hear that, Corey. He says, I don't even know if it was an accident or not. I'm a recovering addict because of this incident. Oh, man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bud. Tanya Shupp says, I quit in 98, and then the drugs they put me on, off all the meds and walking not paralyzed despite their long-term prognosis, not selling stuff. Message me to learn more. Okay. Let's see. Stephen Hannifel says, are you eating grapefruit? That and SSRI or benzos, bad combo. No, I'm not eating grapefruit, but good to know, man. I didn't know that. Still scrolling down here. KBR, I must have caught a tail end of your conversation. So he says it's a weird feeling to wake up after 5 days in a coma. Wow, I guess I missed that conversation. I'm guessing you were in a coma? I bet it's a weird feeling to wake up after 5 days. Imagine those people that wake up after years. Haven't they had that? People wake up after years in a coma? It's got to be weird, right? Still scrolling down here. James Thomas says, KJ, please pray for Marvella to get saved. She's the one I love, and she won't get saved. She also left me. I don't know what to do, and I miss my wife, guys. James, we will. When I pray for things like that, too, it's like I pray that God's will be done. And you know what? I don't know you or her, but maybe God's will is that you depart from her. I don't know. Were you equally yoked? Does she love the Lord? Was she good for you in your life? Or is this something else? But I'll pray for you, and I'm sure others will as well, James. So hang in there, okay? Pray that the Lord's will be done in that situation, even if it's not what we want, right? Let's see. Ron Sari, Saari, says, I quit smoking for 4 years, then I broke my hand in a sawmill accident, started again trying to cut back. Okay, good luck. Good luck. Still scrolling down a bit. New Kingdom Coming says, Jeff C is a blaspheming antichrist. Jeff C is the most controversial friend I've ever had on YouTube, and I love him, and he knows I do. I just reached out to him again the other day. We don't see eye to eye on spiritual things and whatnot or whatever. I don't focus on the things that separate us, though. I focus on the things that keep us together. And although, again, we may disagree on certain things here and there, Jeff C and I, I've always liked his fighting spirit. I know he can be a bit of a wild man, but I see his heart. You know, when I've talked to him, we've talked off of YouTube. Um, he's a little bulldog. You know, he's a fighter. And again, we're not on the same page on everything, but you know, if I get a friend, I got a friend, and I accept them even for, you know, any of their things I may see as shortcomings, and I expect them to do the same for me. So I can't say anything bad about Jeff C. I've been friends of his for a long time. We haven't talked in a long time. I need to talk to him again sometime. But anyway, this isn't about Jeff C. I saw people in there asking about flat Earth and stuff like that. I mean, it's not about any of that stuff, man. All right. This is a much more important topic right here. Strangefoot. Good to see a Strangefoot. Another friend here says depression leads to boredom. To bore a hole that is true, one must be steady while boring a hole. When you're sad, depressed, and bored, focus on one thing, then stay steady. Practice. Interesting. Let's see what else we got here. Schuyler Boughton says, not sure on the verse, but it says something along the lines of take every thought captive or examine every thought. I think that verse is essential while taking your meds. Thanks. I like that. I appreciate it. All right. Still going to catch up a little bit more with y'all and keep scrolling down some here. Again, sorry if I missed any of your comments. There's a lot here. There's a lot. So still scrolling down. Yeah, I like the go all organic idea. Hey, Mia. Good to see you. Mia Meezy's here. One of my good friends. Another one that she's going through her own health type thing. So it's nice when her and I get a chance to talk and kind of, you know, work it out with each other. Ace says this is the scariest community ever. Well, I don't know. Sounds worse than it is. I think it's one of the most loving communities and awesome communities on YouTube, for real. And that's not being overly dramatic. I've been really blessed to have such a great group of people, man, that follow my work. You know, I appreciate y'all. And again, you know, most of my videos, most of my ideas, ultimately, a lot of them come from you guys sending me a news story or an idea here and there. Hey, look into this. And then I do. And it's like, oh, there's my next video, you know. I'm also, like I said, I've got a big video on the Antichrist spirit. I'm also going to work on one about the movie The House with a Clock on Its Walls. It's one of the most evil movies I've seen, most satanic films that's targeted towards children. So we'll get into some of that here soon, too. KD Wells says, KJ, check out my video upload from 2 days ago. I showed my open heart surgery scar at the beginning and talked about all of this. All right, KD, I will, man. Thanks. I'll be interested to see that. That's KD Wells, Wells, for those of you out there that might want to watch that. Eric Thomas says, I'm on 30 milligrams of Lexapro and it kills my spirit or spark. I hate it. Man, see? I hate hearing that too. I'm sorry, man. You know, hang in there, okay? Hang in there, bud. Still scrolling down. Let's see. Still scrolling down. Tina, thanks. She says, take as much time as you need. I appreciate it. But, you know, like I said, I'm always driven, man. It's like I you know, I don't just, you know, I don't make videos for money. I don't make videos for popularity or to be seen or something. I do it because this is what's inside me. This is genuinely who I am. I'm putting pieces of myself out in all my videos and shows, and it's very real and very deep and emotional for me. And it's just what I love to do. So I'm never going to quit, man. But I do, like I said, I appreciate y'all can have patience with me at times like this, you know. So still scrolling down here a bit. Julie Griffin says, have you ever tried going to a hot springs or natural hot springs and soaking for hours? That might help. Yeah, it's a good idea. I haven't tried that, but it's a good idea. Not a lot of hot spring. Well, there is, I think, a hot spring somewhere in Oklahoma. I think it's kind of far away. Let's see. Got a bunch of dirty lakes out here. A bunch of red water lakes out here. Let's see what else we got. Angelique Lewis says, I quit smoking for years, started back at divorce, but Listerine strips helped me quit. Every time I wanted a cig, I popped a Listerine strip. Sounds like a good idea. Brianna Carlson says, SSRIs are prescribed for everything under the sun. I never had depression until the doctor played the Russian roulette for anxiety, for sleep issues. had me scary, depressed, messed up. Yeah, right? It is a Russian roulette. It's just this cocktail of pills. Hey, here's a cocktail of pills for you. You know, it's going to make you feel better. Oh, it didn't? That's all right. Here's more pills. You know, this will counterbalance those. This is the beast system, the medical branch of the beast system at work, enslaving humanity, enslaving humans through pills, through sorcery, really. Pharmakia, the most dangerous kind of pharmakia. Brian the Observer says, scariest movie ever. Don't vape anything. Turns your lungs elastic into a more solid matter. You better off smoking. Better off not smoking. Or says you're better off smoking. Thanks, man. I'm pretty cool right now. I really don't vape that much. Like I said, it's zero nicotine, and when I do, it's just here and there. But I appreciate that, man. I do. Mofo's Games, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching the channel. Always more to come. And if you haven't seen everything, I've got a KJ Osborne YouTube channel, and I have a website called Who is KJ Osborne with even more original videos there. So plenty of work out there for the newbies to my work to get into and check out. All right, man. So I think we might be close to wrapping it up here. I'm going to catch up the chat one more time and just kind of see what happens here. And I guess maybe kind of start saying my goodbyes, but I got some more live shows coming. I may just pop a what happened for this week, start this weekend. Maybe we'll start a new night or something for it. I'm not sure. Because I really want to do it, man. I've got some great stories to show y'all from this past week. And like I said, man, last Tuesday, I mean, it was a crippling depression and a crippling sadness. And I was like, there's no way I can go do a show tonight. You know, it couldn't happen. So anyway, New Mom 40 says Zoloft was one of the worst drugs I've ever taken. Side effects caused panic attacks. Okay, that sucks. So I hope that doesn't happen. We'll see. We will see what happens. All right. So Word John 3:16 says, KJ, you shine. Don't let the devil lie to you. Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. Marla Hiorns says, I've been with you for a long time, and I feel like something is about to happen, and I don't know what. You're appreciated. Love, Mars. Thanks. Me too. Well, what might be happening, we're all feeling it, could be the whole Trump tip of the spear thing, to where, you know, the event's going to happen under his watch, and then we'll see the rise of the Antichrist. Perhaps that's when Obama will enter the world stage and finally be revealed as the son of perdition. Some people think it'll be other people that'll be the Antichrist, but everyone's kind of waiting on that event. And look at this is kind of what my new video is about too, about the Antichrist spirit. Look at all the hate and anger and dissension. Did you see that footage after they put Kavanaugh in, after they cleared him or whatever outside the Senate? You had those people moaning and clawing on the doors of the Senate. Whoa, whoa. I mean, it was creepy, dude. I mean, it was really like something out of Sodom and Gomorrah. I mean, that was some really, really, really crazy stuff, man. So anyway, it's Lauren. Hi, Lauren. Good to see you as always. She says, KJ, you're so blessed, so protected, so loved by our Father. He wanted me to tell you that. Bless you, bro. Always praying for you. Thanks, Lauren. Much love to you. I appreciate that message. I do. And let's see. Oh, Mike, I hope you didn't do that. Mike Guyver says, I've treated my sins for 39 lashes, a crown of thorns, and 3 spikes, and it's working for me. Man, you don't need to do any of that stuff. Mike, I don't know if you're joking around or not, but if you have Jesus and you know Jesus, you know better than to do that. All right? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Let's see. Thanks, Fiorda. I appreciate it. All right, I'm still scrolling down a little bit. Thanks, Debbie Hill, for the prayer. I appreciate it. All right, guys. You know what, man? I guess... Oh, thanks, Mia. Said you've got hot springs out there, always invited. Hey, if I wind up doing this RV thing, my lease is up in March, and I may have found a way I can rent an RV for really pretty cheap, and I could just live in it, you know, and it'd be me and Chubbs on the road, man, and I could go out and see some of these friends. I got some of the greatest friends ever that I met through YouTube, man. I listed some of them earlier. I mean, so blessed, man. And I would love to come see you all, actually get out there and visit a bunch of you. So yeah, who knows, man? Who knows? All right. All right, guys. I guess I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. We've gone almost an hour and a half. Hey, I love you. I love you guys. I'm not just saying that. This is a community. I mean, especially when I went out to Costa Rica, you're all I had. You were my sanity in a lot of ways. I don't get me wrong. I wasn't going crazy out there, but I couldn't speak the language. So I really felt so at home, just with our people, with our groups and the chats we'd have and whatnot. So just thank you guys once again. My prayer at the beginning of this, as I said, was that, that this helps somebody out there or helps a group of you out there, anybody, because I'm going through it, like I said, and y'all know me. I've been around for 10 years on here fighting the beast system the best I can, using the gifts I have, and all of it, all glory to our Heavenly Father. I'm just grateful I'm still here. I'm grateful I have the YouTube channel. I'm grateful for each and every one of you. And that's it, man. So I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. This is a fight. It's a battle, but I'm going to make it. I ain't going to quit. I'm never going to quit my work, and I'm certainly not going to quit my life, okay? But I've experienced these feelings. I know what it's like, man. I feel for you, those of you out there who've gone through this or have loved ones going through it, praying for you as well. All right. So anyway, let's go ahead and say goodbye for now. I got some shows coming up. We'll be doing some more here shortly. And then, of course, I've got my videos I'm working on. Thanks again for my Patreon friends, PayPal friends. Thanks for supporting Silver Botanicals as well. They're an amazing Christian-run company. They have some fantastic products, great prices. Replace toxic chemicals in your house with Silver Botanicals. Also, check out their amazing essential oils that only come from these guys, these specific ones. And that's it, man. I love you guys. God bless each and every one of you. And thanks again just for being so awesome and being friends. I'll talk to you later.